Hey everybody, welcome back to Game 2 of Dota vs Fresh Soil in the AD2L Season 5. This is a regular season game, not part of the little tournament that's going on today for $100. But we had a good game coming out from Dota in the first one. And is Korean Barbecue here? You here
Yep,
with me, buddy? Excellent.
yep, I'm ready.
Been a long day for us.
Yeah, we've been working the beat, been grinding the beat today.
It's been a lot of fun though. So what do you think of the bands so far? They look identical. Wait, no, Tide was in last game, but Shaman was also banned. And Invoker.
Yeah, Fresh Soil, I think they don't want to deal with that Invoker again. Berserker played him really well last game, so they've taken that out of the pool. And Shadow Shaman first banned from University of Minnesota, a bit of a surprise. I don't recall if they banned him last game, but
I
I don't
think
think
they
he was
did.
even involved. They did? Okay.
I think that must be a hero they don't like to deal with. It's not a maybe not a meta band, not a meta ban or a maybe not. I don't know if it's a respect ban either. They might have played Fresh Cell before and got ruined by the Shaman, but it might just be something they don't like to something you don't
Yeah,
want to deal with.
it's
Sorry, I'm just
yeah.
laughing at Twitch chat. Shout out to Twitch chat, everybody tuning in. Thanks for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter at WolfDota. You can follow me on Twitch at WolfDota. You can look up any VODs that you want to see of any AD2L games I've casted on my YouTube channel, and that is also at WolfDota. So plug, because someone asked a question about what my YouTube was, so just throw it all out there. UNM Dota must be the admin or manager of some sort for the UNM team. He says Lucky Charms is not that guy's name. It's a sponsor. It's eCurb is the guy's actual name. So, whoops.
It's a sponsor, so he's sponsored by Lucky Charms?
I don't know if that's a legit sponsor or a total joke, but either way, we've been saying his name is not Lucky Charms. So poor guy.
Well,
Uh,
that'd be awesome if the Lucky Charms cereal is sponsoring him. I mean, I'm more power to him if that's the case.
Gotta eat your Wheaties.
So just going into picks a little bit, there's a very different strategy looks like coming out from University of Minnesota. Last game they had more of a defensive team that they managed to parlay some aggressive plays into. But this game, their first two supports, Ogre and Skyrath, are both great on the offensive, good roaming potential. Skyrath is probably one of the best roamers in the game. So kind of a different, looks like a different take on their plans this game.
Yeah, Earthshaker picked up again by Fresh Soil. Hopefully they give him a little more space this time than they did last time, so you can actually get that blink up and be effective with it. Because I don't think it was a poor Earthshaker play. I think it was just, and I know saying, oh, it was the draft. I don't think it was the draft. I think it was the way they laned it almost. Like they went a little They tried to be a little greedier than they needed to and tried to gank before they had their items up on all of their heroes, and then it just kind of fell apart from there. But at the same time, Void banned out this game from Fresh Soil. I do like the Earthshaker pick again though, solid hero. With the Witch Doctor as well, being able to combo the stuns, and Earthshaker can kind of hold them in place for a little bit, maybe trap them with a fissure wall, and get a good ulti off.
Yeah, and they do pick up the Earthshaker again. This is clearly a hero that they like and a hero that's very versatile. And we mentioned this at the start of last game, and probably say it again. If you pick a support like Earthshaker or even Witch Doctor, these heroes are supports who do get much better with certain items. Earthshaker obviously needs his Blink Dagger. Witch Doctor, not as mandatory, but if he does get his Aghanim Scepter, he ends up dishing out a crap load of damage from that. So that's another thing to watch out for. Are the supports going to get the items they need to be optimally effective this game?
Hmm. And I think they will be able to. So far, Ogre Magi and Skyrath, they like to warm around and cause some pressure. So the two defensive supports are very good at that. That's where Earthshaker thrives, is as an incredibly defensive support. So he'll be able to kind of sit back and maybe soak some experience, get some money from polls, just kind of sitting in the back of that sitting back behind the carry in lane. Sorry, my brain's getting a little fried.
Yeah, it's totally understandable. I'll try to pick up the slack if I don't do any frying myself. I'm definitely got a couple zone out moments in me.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like staring at the screen. It's like, huh?
What's going on here? What are we
What is Doto? Sorry, you guys. It's been a long day. Been having a lot of fun though, and never quit, never surrender. Bristleback picked up. This is the third one we've seen today. Um, the hero's what, 1-1 now?
Something like that. Yeah, I
Or
don't recall.
I think or was he picked up our
Was he?
first soil last game?
I feel like he lost both games. I just keep
Yeah,
I keep seeing Bristleback just being in my mind's eye, just suffering in the
yeah.
warlocks up
He
his
lost
warlocks up.
he lost that game because I remember he had no points in Bristleback
Oh yeah, yeah.
early. We were commenting on how he didn't have the points up in Bristleback early. Went for
He
that
was the
extra.
bristle without the back, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, I don't really like the hero pickup. Not gonna lie, not a huge fan of that draft, that pick.
10 seconds to go.
But we'll see how. Again, everything comes down to how you lane it and how the game progresses. I mean, any hero can snowball from pretty much any position if done properly, or the stars align and you get everything lining up right. So try not to
Yeah,
count him out
and
early, especially this early in the draft and whatnot. It's just the hero's been having a poor run today. Ooh, hey, that's a hero. That is. Oh no, I know what they're doing. They're gonna get an E-blade on, like, obviously they're gonna get an E-blade on Morphling, but then they're gonna roam around with the Skywrath with Ancient Seal, and they're just gonna go all over people's faces.
yeah, that
Like,
certainly seems very threatening. And of course, the Ember Spirit being picked up here, probably the mid for fresh soil. And the
mhm.
Ember Spirit is kind of vulnerable to that, even though he does have a shield that protects him. Partly because the Skywrath has a silence, and silences are very threatening to Ember Spirits because you can't get away. And he's fundamentally a squishy hero who usually builds damage. So how he plays around that silence is going to determine largely his effectiveness this game.
I love that pickup from them though. The Wraith King complete after he gets his ultimate is basically immune to the Morphling shotgun per se, as it'll be wasted on his first life. And in some cases, you almost want to spend that first life, get that AOE slow. That way, the Ember Spirit can kind of reposition a little bit. You can have Earthshaker run in, drop the Enchant Totem, or maybe get a solid Death Ward off his reincarnation slow. So I really like that pickup, as well as he's just has another stun for the Morphling, which they always need more of. They have some good lockdown so far. Each hero having a solid like legitimate lockdown, not like a soft lockdown like slows and stuff like that, but they all have hard stuns. In the Searing Change is a little different, but it's a complete lockdown. And you can't cast spells while you're locked in it. But
Yeah, that's a great point on the Wraith King right there. What's one way of dealing with a ton of burst damage? Well, pop back up after the burst hits you the first time. So I do like that. The Storm Spirit coming out as a pickup for the mid for University of Minnesota, and I think this does work well with their overall plan. I mean, he does a lot of magic damage, so that helps with Skywrath and the E-Blade that we talked about. Plus, he's a really active mid who can really get around the map with great mobility and ganks. So I think this is a fundamentally different strategy from University of Minnesota. They look to be running a very aggressive lineup.
hmm Elder Titan, pretty classic Morphling counter, so I'm not too surprised with that pick. The Storm Spirit though is a kind of an interesting one. Berserkin, another hero, and I love that they're giving him this hero. We saw that he was a bit of a gamer on that Invoker, had some really nice plays and stuff like that. So usually mid players are good at they're good at the mid heroes, right? And a very classic mid hero is that Storm Spirit. So if he can be about as effective as he was on that Invoker, I think he's gonna have a really good game. Also, the Storm Spirit can zip around. It can really make life hell for that Earthshaker and Witch Doctor, as they're not going to get a whole lot of items and won't be that tanky early on, and won't have items to really counter him. Not to mention, Elder Titan doesn't really have all that much health, and can kind of be bursted down.
Yep, and I do like the Elder Titan synergy with their lineup as well. He does have that, of course, natural order of reducing armor and resistances. And when you have all this AoE coming out, the Witch Doctor ult is just basically AoE. The Earthshaker's ultimates, of course, the Ember Spirit's Sleight of Fist. You just have a ton of damage potential in team fights. So I think for UMN, this is again a clash of philosophies, and I love casting these kinds of games where the teams have different profiles and identities. UMN seems to have a lot of single target, excellent pickoff. They have some durable, hard to kill heroes in the Morphling, Storm, and Bristleback. So mobility and durability and single target damage is their calling card. Whereas for Fresh Soil, they have really good AOE and they have good zoning and stuns out of their lineup. So this will be interesting to see who manages to impose their imprint on the game.
I'm just laughing at chat there. Someone said his grandma fell down the stairs. Someone said, did he deny her? Oh God.
Oh man, that's when you know you've been
Oh,
really
you're
burning the
into
Dota
the
oil.
Dota. Well, while we're paused, let's go ahead and quickly introduce the teams. That way they can't get away. I got Fresh Soil. We've got Gabe playing that Witch Doctor. Jode on the Elder Titan. The stand-in Das Hawk is on the Ember Spirit. Raven is playing that Wraith King, and Wilson up on the Jakiro. Or sorry, Earthshaker. God.
And all right, for the University of Minnesota, we have Berserker on the Storm Spirit, Grod. I like that name. It's like a nice, down to earth. I don't know. It's like an
Fun to
earthy,
shout.
hardy name. Grod. Yeah. Although that seems like an ogre name. We have Lucky Charms on the ogre. Lucky Charms. Or sorry, Ekrub M. Dot Lucky Charms on the ogre. I guess he's sponsored by Lucky Charms. I hope so. That'd be really cool. I have to find out more about that. Legendary on the Bristleback and Science Boss. Is it Boss? Is that what it is? Science Boss on the Skywrath. So. Yep. Um, well, we're about to get underway here.
Yeah, and the pause is gonna come off, and so quickly, Lucky Charms, fucking delicious. Throwing that out there for anyone who's interested in a quality
Magically
breakfast cereal.
delicious.
Magically delicious. Watch, I won't be able to put this on YouTube now because they'll have heard that, and they'll be like, your product placement again, and they'll cancel my monetization and copyright it, and I'll get sued, and they'll take all like 10 cents or something.
Is that what monetization on YouTube does? You just open yourself up to a Pandora's box of corporate violations?
There's a Korean company that keeps copywriting my videos whenever they're on the Dota 2 draft screen, and it's apparently a bug with their automatic visual recognition thing. It's so
Oh, really?
frustrating. It's like the worst thing ever. But
Wait, so what do you do about that?
you can dispute it, and they usually get it cleared up. But they don't clear it up until late at night because South Korea, right? Like a
Yeah.
little bit of time zone gap there, but it's usually cleared up in an hour. Looks like back to Dota though. We're gonna have three heroes charging up the high ground. Wraith King and the Earthshaker are gonna be here. Nice fissure. Unfortunately, doesn't pinch off the Skywrath mage, so they can't go in on the kill on him. But it doesn't look like they wanted to. Just a good defensive fissure, and prevents them from really invading their jungle, as they probably wanted to get some wards down, maybe block some camps, and overall just impede their farm. Morphling and Elder Titan up in the top lane are gonna trade blows though. Morphling's not gonna get the better exchange of this, as he's got pretty low health. And Elder Titan does have that stout shield, so.
Don't get stapled, Grod. Don't get stapled.
Oh yeah, staple gun. Staple.
And a bit curious here because I thought that they were, sending that early encampment expeditionary force into the woods so they couldn't do something about the runes. But it looks like they just backed away from double damage and the bounty. So a pair of unclaimed runes early in the game. And yeah, it's always dangerous walking uphill into the fog. If there are more heroes waiting for them, there might have been a kill. Or if the fissure sealed off the Skywrath, but they managed to get away from that cleanly.
And interestingly enough, the Witch Doctor does not go down and grab that room. Instead, drops a ward right on top of the other ward. How are the lanes looking for these guys? Bristleback solo off lane, to be expected. Wraith King is going to be farming this. I think that's good. And he combos really, really well with his supports. What do you think about going the aggressive Wraith King, like a Blink?
I think that's a pretty good choice for them. They might not make him do that this game because they kind of need him to be a carry, and I don't think they're going to be as as placing as heavy of an emphasis on pursuit and so on early on in the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if he forgoes that instead for like a Maelstrom or an Armlet or something.
Okay. So you think he's just going to go... you don't think he'll go Blink Maelstrom, you think he's going to go probably Maelstrom Armlet or Armlet Maelstrom, and then into the Mjolnir kind of thing, rather than, say, Blink Maelstrom Blade Mail?
Yeah, I think so. And it could actually, I mean, he went blank last game. I think he was the tiny last game, but
Yeah.
they did have a bit of a different plan that game, I think. Or it could just be something that they usually do from their safe lane. Just have a guy who gets blank to go around and pick up kills. So it really speaks to, we'll find out more about their team philosophy and whether it's the same from this game to last game or if
How
they're going
much
to aim
they're
for something different.
how much they're willing to change up their build. And so unlike the last game, I don't think that Fresh Soil innately has the late game disadvantage this game. I think late game is pretty even. And in fact, I would give the edge to Fresh Soil, as the Elder Titan is such a hard counter to the Morphling's base tankiness in his massive armor there, as well as providing extra damage to burst him down and solid lockdown for him. All of these heroes have really good lockdown. Echo Stomp, I mean, it's kind of situational, but it's excellent AoE lockdown for certain heroes. And Ember Spirit late game sleight of fisting onto the Ancestral Spirit is gonna do a ton of damage. Like he gets if he get and I'm not even talking like super late game, but if he once he gets a Battle Fury and maybe a Chrysalis, like 35 minutes in, I don't think that's crazy. Is thinking they have that at 35 minutes at all. I mean that's probably a little slow even if you're farming well, but if he's gonna have that on top of the what at the time will be the maxed ancestral or sorry natural order, it's gonna be pretty rough because the tankiest hero on that team, other than I guess Bristleback and Ogre, but everyone else is pretty soft without items.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's not as skewed as it was last game, and I think it's gonna. I mean, there could go either way. You have a lot of heroes with late game potential, and it'll depend on if some of them snowball or not. I mean, mid Storm seems to be doing pretty well against the Ember Spirit, and I'd expect the Skywrath gank at some point to try to secure first blood. But yeah, it really depends. Both teams have potent late game combinations. Obviously, if a Morph or Storm Spirit gets really farmed, those heroes become incredibly hard to deal with, or can just burst you down really fast. So we'll see as first blood has
Berserker's
yet
gonna
to.
get a could drop the spirit, doesn't go for it though. Decides not to. Might have been able to get that kill. Ember Spirit only had 150 health. That's I guess overload level 1 only does 30 damage, but I mean if he gets the vortex into the Sand Remnant, that's a dead Ember Spirit. So playing with fire a little bit here is Das Hack, or sorry Das Hawk, and quick BT way Bitway. I don't know how you want me to say your name, but I see you asking a question about the audio difference in the chat. Um, my buddy Korean Dota, he's just quiet. I don't know if that's something to do with how I have my setup, where he sounds really loud to me but comes through pretty quiet on the OBS, or what's up with that. Um, sorry about that. Just have to hopefully try and listen to him. He is here audible though, right? I can turn him up a little bit, but it's quite loud for me.
All right, I've turned up my boost a little bit and moved myself a bit closer, moved my mic a bit closer, so hopefully that resolves the problem.
Yeah,
If not, she can.
I turned you up, so it should be all right. I cranked you up a little more. It's just still working on it, but we'll just have to see. So far, no kills coming out yet. A couple heroes dropping very low. ET, I think he's doing fairly all right in that off lane. Last hits, if we take a look at the board, this Morphling Grodd farming very well, up to 25 and 9. Meanwhile, his counterpart Berserker on the mid Storm Spirit. Oh, he's going to trade some blows here. Chains come out onto him, and he's dropping quite low. He was doing very well in this lane up until now. Oh, he gets the zip off, and he's going to make it out just in a nick of time. The fact that he was level 6 and Ember Spirit wasn't, due to the 16 denies that he has, just saved him. Otherwise, he would have been dead. There's nothing he could have done about that. And he's going to go for the kill. He gets the pull. He gets a Remnant. He gets the zap. He's just got to get one more zip forward. One more. Oh, the Remnant. Or sorry, the Searing Chains comes out from the Ember Spirit, and that's going to save him. So big plays coming up from both of these mids in this 1v1 battle. Lightning versus fire. Spirit versus spirit. Brother versus brother.
Yeah, and one brother seems to be, I mean, just kind of almost bullying his little brother there. The Ember Spirit did almost get the kill on the Storm, but the Storm has 30 last hits, the Ember Spirit's 4, and it looks like he's going to be in good position to grab this next rune top, which is going to be a regen. So this mid is a bit of a mismatch. I mean, the Storm has done a really good job of just keeping the Ember down, and I think the Ember got his bottle very late, so he wasn't even able to sustain himself in lane for a while.
And Berserker, look at he pops an overload charge, and he's gonna look to go. See if he's gonna burn up some mana and keep this regen rune alive. Yeah, looks like it, but not enough. So decides not to go zipping around looking for a kill, but instead just gonna use it to farm. We might see him go again on this Ember, but Ember is now level 6. He probably has a does he have a remnant? Yeah, he's got one out bottom, so he can just zip away from anything. Top lane, Morphling going ham, 32 last hits. Wraith King is doing alright. He's having a little harder time as his supports I think have been trying to pull a little bit here and whatnot. So the Bristleback's doing pretty well in the offlane. He's level 7. So doing very well for himself. The Elder Titan, I believe, is doing all right. Level 5, so not quite as good as the Bristleback. But so far, they're making this Bristleback work. Raven does have the Helm of Iron Will, so early Armlet looks like it's going to be the item. Well, how do you feel about this Wraith King's leveling? Like, Wraith Fire Blast, not maxing it, going for that crit strike? You think it's worth it early?
Well, I think that kind of speaks to what we discussed earlier of what they expect out of him early. I mean, if he's not going to fight, and if they don't think they can even kill the Bristleback, which they appear to be punting on trying to kill the Bristleback, then yeah, he's going to put Mortal Strike over Wraith Blast to maybe get more harass out of his attacks. I mean, there's one very small meta thing there where if he attacks him and the Bristleback's facing him because he's denying the creeps, then if he lands a Mortal Strike, he's going to deal more damage than if he's stunning the Bristleback with his back turned. But I'm not sure if that's really the reason. I think that's kind of just help him last hit and farm, and we could see him maybe make an earlier transition to be able to farm jungle stacks or something if you're going to get Mortal Strike this early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's looking to farm. Storm Spirit's going to pick up a haste rune, so a very nice action rune for him. Maybe go and try and gank the safe lane, or he's just going to make a play, maybe go for the Ember Spirit. He has got vision on the Witch Doctor there, and he knows that Ember Spirit's pretty low in health. Wouldn't be able to run away from him, though. Got a magic wand coming out to himself. Meanwhile, Morphling, what's your game plan here? Ring of Aquila, Power Treads, pretty standard stuff there. Get some early agility and a little bit of extra health going out when he needs it. Go straight for the Lincolns, or maybe an Ethereal Blade Rush, or none of the above. Go for like a Yasha. Meanwhile, mid Berserker's gonna get a lot of damage coming down on him. He does still have that haste rune. First Spirit stuff's gonna be on cooldown for a little bit, and his phase boots are gonna be on their way.
I would like to see. I'm not too sure about an early Lincolns this game from Morphling. I think this is more of a BKB game.
Okay.
The reasons for that is the threatening single target spells on him aren't really that bad. I mean, you have Cask, you have the stun from the Wraith King, which isn't being leveled, although he has no way of knowing that, and of course you have the Earthshaker's Fissure. So
Bottom lane, they're gonna go on the Bristleback. They throw out a stun and the Wraith Fire Blast as well as the Fissure, but he's just too tanky. He's level 8, and he's going to look to turn it on these people. The Warpath doing so much damage. He's going to get First Blood. He can probably go after this Raven here, and he's going to get Earthshaker as well. This might be just a triple kill in the way of him. He pops the Quill Spray just running by. Going to look to get that goo. He's definitely faster. Pop another Quills, buddy. He gets a goo off. Oh, Storm Spirit rotates around with the Haste Rune. Are they going to go for? Are they going to let him get it? And nope. Storm Spirit's going to pick up that one kill, so he gets something for his way. But Legendary, he makes some plays happen on that Bristleback, and this is what we didn't see from any of the other Bristlebacks we saw today. They never had an opportunity like that. They never turned around and went ham. They all just kind of got harassed back and got taken down. That said, they were up against arguably more difficult matchups. Oh, he drops down to like 8 health, and he gets stunned, he gets hit, and Earthshaker does manage to pick up the kill. So nice play coming up from him. Good presence of mind to TP out there and go for that kill.
Yeah, and it looks like Elder Titan's going to drop here top to that morph combo. It was very nice play there by Legendary. He realized, hey, you guys, I'm not stuck here with you. You guys are stuck here with me. And he just turned around with those quills. And of course, the Wraith King made kind of a mistake there, I think, by using up his mana with the stun, which deprived him of mana for his reincarnation. So that led to a third kill there. So a really successful off-lane outburst there by the Bristleback.
No, it was for sure a fantastic play coming up from Legendary, and really putting some hate on this Wraith King, who he's falling behind in farm, even to the offlane Bristleback. He's got 10 more CS than he does. Berserker on the Storm Spirit's doing quite well, up to 50 CS at 11 minutes. Morphling's got 56 and an assist, so 1,000 gold in the bank. Courier is moving around for him. Nothing, and he looks like he's going to go for a Lincoln's build. Lincoln's might not block a whole lot, but it's everything that Morphling needs to just never have to go back to the base. It's all of the regen, the stats he needs, the extra health, and there is some stuff that will block, especially if he's going for one-on-one engagements where somebody's trying to get away. So if he's trying to like maybe single target down, like solo take out the Witch Doctor, or the Ember. Does it block Searing Chains? I don't know offhand, but it'll block some of the Fissure stun as well. Or no, because Fissure's not targeted anymore. It shouldn't block any of it. But it'll help.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great sustain item for Morphling, as you mentioned. Just helps you stay in lane, gives you some nice stats from the ultimate orb, which you wouldn't be getting from the Black King bar. But I think if he's looking for it for defensive purposes, then obviously you have to be worried about the initiation and the big ults and the various AOE spells that are not single target coming out from the Radiant. But at this point, I mean, it's good for sustain, for staying out on the map, for allowing him to be active, and there's definitely no problem with that. And he's not really being threatened right now. So
meanwhile, Bristleback's asserting his dominance. He's going 1v3 here, throwing out Nasal Goo and Quill Sprays like crazy on this Elder Titan. Unfortunately, the stun from the Earthshaker is going to miss. Jode is dropping very low. One more Quill Spray or right click from him is going to drop him down. Earthshaker does pop the ulti. Unfortunately, it's not going to do a whole lot. They get a pull off on Wilson. Bristleback's getting out more stacks of that Warpath. He's up to 175 damage, plus the damage from the minus armor onto the other heroes, and he's going to look and get this kill on the Wraith King. Wraith King doesn't have mana for the stun. You got to get that tread toggle, throws it out the last second. I think there he's deciding I'm probably dead, or just maybe thinking I don't want to use the cooldown now. And I know that's kind of like, but he's gave up a kill. He's the safe lane carry. You got to keep alive no matter what. It's one of those things that is like a 4-minute cooldown, 260 seconds. So I mean, well, more than 4, almost 4.5.
Yeah, I think you will see some situations where Wraith King purposely allows himself to die instead of using the cooldown, as you mentioned, because he's not back for long. But he was actually 1 mana at 159 away from having his ultimate before he used that stun, and if he had it, I think he might have been able to deny the tower or pick up maybe a Storm Spirit kill. There was no mana left on the Bristleback and Storm. But
No.
yeah, he hasn't used his ultimate in either situation, and I mean, I'm not sure if he just doesn't want to use it because of the cooldown. I'd still rather have that extra life, especially in a situation where they're not a threat to kill you immediately again if you do pop back up.
Yeah. Bristleback opts to go for the Vlads rather than finish the Crimson Guard, which I think is fine. I mean, Vlad, I love getting Vlads on a Morphling team, especially because all of his damage comes from pure stats, not from plus damage items. So, oh, they're going to zip forward onto the Elder Titan and going to get a quick kill. Morphling waves forward and easy kills. Alahala Gadala. Easy money coming out for him.
Yeah, and Dasok has to be careful here as he's going to jump to the high ground, taking a lot of damage from those quills. And this Bristleback, I think the Radiant team didn't really seem to either respect or understand what he was capable of in terms of they keep trying to fight him without the burst to bring him down, and he just comes in with those quills. They start adding up over time and just wreaking havoc. And now he's just truly running amok.
Yeah, he's gonna. I assume he is gonna go for that. Oh, he's gonna get locked in here, or maybe it's Wilson that's gonna get locked in here. Ooh, good silence comes out from Science Bus, or Science Boss as it is, and Bristleback with 4 stacks up in that Warpath, hitting for almost 200, quickly brings him down. Another thing I didn't mention is the Vlad's very good up against the Elder Titan. Anything you can do to add bonus armor to your team is just gonna be very effective. So that is definitely something you want.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's another item that it gives him some mana regen and some more sustain. When he gets his stacks up, he's going to be leeching a decent amount of HP off his attacks, and of course that is important for a hero that has a lot more effective HP because of his passive. So I think it's a great overall pickup, and as you mentioned, they want to be aggressive and they want to fight, so it's great to just have that Vlad's pay off and have everybody in your vicinity benefit from it.
Yeah, Ember Spirit looking to go here on. Oh, I can't even read his name. I'm trying. Ekrubin. God damn. Ogre Magi, played by the guy sponsored by Lucky Charms. Because I'm a sellout. I tried. I really did. It's a long day. I'm tired. Orchid almost picked up by the Storm Spirit. He's about, was it 775 for the recipe there? So he's only, yeah. So he's just a couple hundred short. 300 short now. And she's going to have that. Meanwhile, looks like the 4-man rotation up onto the Morphling. He gets stunned up by the Wraith King. He's still got waveform. He's gonna just casually waveform away from 4 heroes. Jeez.
Yep, that's the Morphling.
And meanwhile, his team gets the mid tower, and he's 700 gold away from his Lincoln Sphere, in which case the starter stun there, the Wraithfire Blast, isn't going to land. So
Yeah, no, this game is a bit similar to last game. UMN seems to be putting together a very dominating performance as the Storm gets a kill on the Elder Titan up here, or looks like he's about to, and that'll more than secure his Orchid as they come bot for a rune. And yeah, UMN has been playing very crisp and sharp. The first game we saw them in the tournament, they looked outclassed a little bit by the other team, but these 2 games, it's been their turn to just turn
And
things around.
I think what it is some of the players right now are different than the ones that were in that first game in that tournament. I wonder if some of these guys don't exceed that MMR cap. Like, there's one guy that isn't in the game that added me as a friend, and I can't remember his name offhand. I think Mr. Grime was a stand-in for them.
Oh,
So
that's right.
so there was a Mr. Grime as a stand-in, and I think they had maybe one other person. I'd have to go back and check the VOD just to double check, but they might have exceeded the 3,500 MMR, and that would be why, because this is a league game, not part of that 3,500 tournament. So just throwing that out there, and I'm not trying to flame anybody. It's just Korean barbecue is way better at Dota than I am, boys. I'm like 3,700. He's like 5K. So you know, people are better than everybody. It happens. We all bow down to Waga. So I mean, like.
Yeah, that's a great point. I hadn't even considered that they didn't have the same players. But yeah, this team is just looking crisp and sharp, and they're getting stuff that I don't know if Legendary was a part of it, because Legendary has played really well in both games, and that Bristleback, he might get his first win of the night here. I mean, he pretty much just took over this game, bottom, and just cracked everything open for UMN.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if he doesn't go, he's probably gonna save up for treads here. I don't know if he's gonna go with them right now, but he's probably gonna leave his boots brown, go for treads. I want to see him get that Crimson Guard, and just go all of the ham, like just run at the enemy team, let his Morphling get 6 slotted, and just run at them and be the most annoying thing ever. And he does really good damage with with his Warpath, so. Good stuff coming out there. That looks like the pause is good. Looks like I think it was just Gabe's mouse. He was crapping out on him, so I imagine he's probably playing with a wireless. Such scrub.
Yeah, I have to. I'm a hater of wireless mice. It might be because I'm old, but it's probably just because it annoys me to have to consider changing batteries and stuff. I mean, it's just you're not moving. You're not going anywhere. Do you need the mouse to be wireless? You're sitting by your computer. The wire ain't too bad, right?
Yeah. Now one thing though is like myself, I think a lot of these guys are university students, and most of them play on laptops, not desktops. So that might be one of the reasons why they have the wireless mouse. Just a little easier to transport. Don't have to worry about the cord all the time. But enough talking about mice, as Berserker is going to find a really big rat in the Earthshaker and pick him out and stomp him. He's going to get stunned up with the Wraith King, and he's out of mana. Morphling does... Oh, Remnants into a bit of an interesting position. Okay, there you go. Waveform away. So...
Yep, he's
Good
got
stuff
his
coming from him.
Lincoln's recipe waiting in the stash too, so some key items coming out. If we look at the last hits and the net worth graph, it's a dominating advantage for the core heroes on UMN, and they basically just have to play safe and avoid, maybe keep getting pickoffs and avoid throwing this game away, because I think they're in the driver's seat for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and they've got currently enough of a net worth advantage and experience advantage that they can just kind of keep, even if they can just kind of keep the pace of the game and wait and sit back and let themselves farm up their second and third items on some of these heroes. And even if the fresh soil guys, they manage to get their first items online, it's not going to matter. It'll be too little too late. As Storm Spirit gets a long jump in, goes for the silence on Wilson. He's very hurt. He's dropping very low. The Orchid proc is going to kill him off. That said, the Storm Spirit does get silenced. Bristleback wants to go ham. Jode is getting body blocked by the slowed Gabe. He's like, get out of my way. I don't want to deal with this. And Bristleback's going to go ham. Oh, somebody says, hey, what are you doing? Get back here. They're going to get a stun out on the Ember Spirit. He's going to be able to zip away. No more hard lockdown for him. Elder Titan doesn't have mana for Earth Splitter, but look at all the damage they're taking from this Bristleback. So many stacks of quills on them. They all just drop so low with that one spray, and they get the tower. Meanwhile, space created. Look who's just sitting up top, hitting creeps. Playing the PvE game. What are other heroes? I didn't realize Dota was multiplayer.
Yep, and just to demonstrate how much of a lead there is, that Storm zipped behind the tier 2 tower into 3 heroes without
Mhm.
thinking twice. He's just like, I'm just going to get what I want. What are you guys going to do to me? And he's right. They couldn't do anything to him. And on the counter initiation, after the battle went back and forth, they almost all got killed again without the Morphling there. So Roshan now looks like is for an Aegis on the Storm.
Yeah, and Bristleback, excellent tank for the Roshan. With that, Vlad's going to be very tanky. And not to mention, really going to goo him up. That minus armor's coming through very nice. Ogre gets some multicast as well. And UNM Dota in my Twitch chat. I assume that's a... Type in what you are. Are you like their manager, their captain? Like, what do you do for the team? Just kind of curious here. He says that, yeah, their best players, their starters are above 3.5k. So they did have a couple stand-ins for that previous game, which would be why this composition of players looks so crisp.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. Storm looks like he's about to finish up his BKB,
yeah.
so he can go in there with even more impunity, and we might have another fight breaking out here in the mid.
Yeah, it looks like a Bristleback. He's thinking, I've got a haste rune. That means I'm invincible, right? That's how that works. And he's just gonna go ham. He's got a vitality booster, so he's very tanky. He's got that regen. Runs in, gets some harass damage. Morphling has a remnant out, or sorry, not a remnant. So many things. Got the replicate. That was way too hard. Jesus. Has a replicate out and about, so he's doing pretty well for himself. Can kind of go ham here if he wants to, but looks like they're just gonna go for the Wraith King. Mystic Flare a little bit off. Didn't have another slow for the Wraith King there. No stun for him either. Ember Spirit kind of jumps forward, gets a nice chains off as well. Cassie's gonna hop through, gets disjointed by the Storm Spirit, but in the end they're not gonna be able to go. And UNM is just posturing very aggressively in this area, and unfortunately, Fresh Soil, they don't want to go past here. They're a little too nervous. A bunch of remnants go forward. Ember Spirit's going to zip forward, try and clear out the creep wave with that, but now he doesn't have any if he needs to engage or run away. So he goes for the slight with the shackles, gets it off, but they just slow siege down that tower. And they're pinging out top tower. They want to go for it. There's a big creep wave coming up. Jode is going to get harassed down. Legendary's getting pretty hurt. Echo Slam only connects on 2. Legendary's dropping pretty low, but he's not going to be able to bring him down. Slight comes through again, but they're just going to back off. So far, a whole lot of poking and prodding, a lot of jousting and chest beating, but no one fully committing to an engagement, and it looks like the Radiants, they just want to regen, go up top, and push down that lane, take another tower, continue taking these objectives. There's a DD rune bottom. It caught my eye on the minimap. Completely lost my train of thought. Squirrel!
Shiny, man.
Yeah. What do you do?
And there are 2 aggressive wards here from the Dire. We got one on the actual high ground and another just overlooking their woods. So that just more information, just tightening the noose. They're going to come here and claim this last tier 2. And it would not surprise me that with the Aegis, if they went for the high ground after that. And with the ultimates down and without some of those key items we talked about for the supports and for even the cores, because even the cores of Fresh Soil are relatively poor this game, I'm not sure what they can really do about this.
Gotcha. Yeah, Storm Spirit zips in. He does get stunned up. So does the Morphling. Actually dropping fairly low, starting to morph to strength. Earth Splitter's going to come through. It's not really going to connect or anything. The Elder Titan does drop. That said, the Morphling gets chained up underneath the tower, and he's starting to drop very low. He doesn't have a replicate, and he is going to go down. But UNM, the Storm Spirit, has gone godlike. He's 9-0. Stun comes out onto Raven. He doesn't have mana for his ultimate. Now he does, though. And as he toggles the int treads, Witch Doctor ulti is going to come through, and this is that combo I was talking about with the slow, but Witch Doctor is going to have to run back. The Aegis is popped by the Storm Spirit. Are they going to look to dive this? No, they want to just sit back. Maybe, I don't know if they want to finish this tower off. Bristleback is going to hit it a few times, but I think they're just going to... Yeah, they're probably just going to back off. They decide they don't know what they want to do. They're just kind of pushing... And now they decide, let's leave, let's wander away. So, all in all, solid engagement. They did lose their Morphling that time, but a couple more kills coming out for them, and this tower's dropping very low. So, more of an objective gained, and it's just like, it's looking slowly, the noose is tightening, it feels like, on Fresh Soil. And quickly, UNM Dota did say he is their captain, manager / co-chair kind of guy, so... that's how why he's probably the organizer and does all that fun stuff behind the scenes stuff that's very important for a team that wants to play in some tournaments, and it's hard for the person who has to focus on drafting and whatnot. Meanwhile, casual kill coming out on casual like forever zipped coming out for the Storm Spirit from all the way from there and then all the way over the
forever zip.
yeah, it's like the never-ending story. He just goes on and on and on until he gets chained up.
So that's great. I look forward to seeing more university teams. I know that there is a college Dota league, but I also hope they sign up for AD2L, and it's good to see the game growing among young college students and players. I know that League of Legends, it's a forbidden word for us to say here. They have scholarships, I think, for their players. So I hope that for eventually Dota is going to be able to do that too. I think Robert Morris University over in Chicago gives out scholarships for League of Legends players.
That's pretty interesting. And the esports community is young. The old people in esports are 30. So
Yeah.
they understand. They've done their degrees. They've done the college thing recently. They understand what gaming in a dorm room is all about. They know where these players are coming from. They know what they want. But they also know that they're not stupid. They're smart. How many university players here already have their degrees of whatever and are still gaming because it makes money, they love it, and it's a chance to travel the world and potentially become huge. So it's pretty interesting to see, and I'm excited for the future. Storm Spirit with a huge zip in, instantly pops the BKB, and that's a quickly killed Ember Spirit. That's a lot of the high ground defense. The Earth Splitter is going to land on the Skywrath Mage. Witch Doctor does drop to the chase of the Bristleback. Nice Echo Slam! That drops 3 really low. They're going to lose their Storm Spirit. He doesn't have the Aegis. The rest are dropping very low. Unfortunately, the Ogre Magi not going to tick down. Oh, he does! The last tick of the Wraithfire Blast. All the way out there. How often do you see that happen where that gets you a kill? And that was a crap ton of gold going the way of UNM.
Yeah, that was a dream fight there for Fresh Soil. It's basically as good of a turnout as they could have hoped for. I really love that scene with the Earthshaker because he doesn't have a blink obviously, but he does have it now. I think after death with the gold he got from the streak sending, you could just see him walking up there desperately like, please let me get there, guys, please let me get there, and he did. Laid down the boom, got off his AOE ult, and that was a nice high ground hold there by Fresh Soil. But they're gonna need plenty more of those if they want to claw back into this game.
Score sitting at 4-20 in favor of UNM Gaming. So they're sitting pretty. They're about 14k ahead, both experience and gold. The graph gonna dip down a little bit, but I imagine after a moment or two of farming, it's gonna quickly start level out and start dipping further down. And when I say dip down, I mean curving back towards the neutral zone. In favor of Fresh Soil here. But that I want to say that was. I looked at the chart, but I didn't quite remember. It was like 6,000 experience and 3,000 some gold going the way of Fresh Soil. So good stuff for them.
Yeah, and the Morphling has his completed Eagle Song, so he's not going to be far away from his Ethereal Blade. And we saw the Storm showing off his BKB there. He goes in, puts Orchid on the Ember Spirit, who has no way of disengaging or escaping from that, and he BKBs himself so that he can't be locked down. And that's a reliable way of killing pretty much anybody he wants. They do need to keep something in reserve now. I think, as we talked about throughout the day, in terms of hiding key items, the Earthshaker is going to want to conceal that he has his Blink Dagger until it's time to drop the boom and start throwing down some dunks. So I don't know if the other team's caught sight of it yet, but that might be very important in the upcoming fight.
Yeah. Bottom lane, I was pinging it out and watching it. Didn't want to distract you yet. The Ember Spirit was walking down like this here, and the Storm Spirit was walking down like this. And they both got about here, and Ember Spirit zipped halfway back across the map, and was like, I've got a bad feeling. Didn't have it.
That tension didn't quite pay off there.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny. So he's got his first Battle Fury if he wants to pick it up. He might be saving for buyback now, though. That said, he's going to get silenced up, and he's going to get waveform down. Holy magic damage coming out from the Skywrath Mage. Oi, that's rough.
Yeah, they kind of waited for him there, and he was like, something's wrong, it's too quiet, and they sprang that trap. And he's not a tanky hero, he does have his drums, but with that silence just holding him in place, he went down real quick.
And I love this pickup. The Storm Spirit, who's 12-1, only died once, is going for that Bloodstone. Just needs the Soul Ring and the recipe, so about 1,600 gold, 1,650, I think is what it costs. Want to check. 800 for that, and okay, so it did 1600 flat for the recipe and the soul ring, 800 each.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit cheaper too, I guess, because the perseverance was 17.
Save 150 gold.
Yeah, so a little bit cheaper, so that's not bad. Roshan is up. I don't believe they've scouted it out yet. Waiting for that to go out. Super Willis, I completely agree with you. I just looked over at the Twitch chat. Ew. And I'm not going to mention what he's talking about because that's just rude. E-Blade picked up by the Morphling. This Aegis, where do you think it's going to go? Morphling or Storm?
I think it's going to, yeah, well, I think it's going to go on the Storm. I mean, it kind of doesn't, it almost doesn't matter who they put on. The Bristleback now has his heart too, so he can go in there, take a round of damage, come back out, and, you know, ready his snot and quills up again for the next fight.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Did get 2 points in stats, not maxing the nasal goo. Decides that extra 3% slow per stack, not that important once you get that 2 armor reduction. So, and you know, I don't think that's a bad choice. The 3% slow per stack limit 4, that's only 12% more slow on top of what is already going to be like 60%. So it's a pretty small number that would actually be reducing. It would only be like an extra N movement speed reduced by the end of the day, I think, that percentage. Just because of how the slow works, and it won't take anyone below 100. So.
Yeah, it's negligible. I am surprised that he didn't at least fill it out by 16, but it's a needle in the haystack compared to the big picture things happening in this game.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Ogre Magi went for that 4-staff. Big fan of that. One of my favorite items to get on support, just because it allows you to yourself escape even when you would normally not be able to, like if you had a Blink Dagger, but it can let you save a carry that maybe gets stun locked or trapped on the wrong side of a fissure. Storm Spirit's going to leap in, gets the Orchid off on the Ember Spirit, and that's going to be a dead Ember Spirit. He gets bursted down. Storm Spirit and the Bristle get caught by the Earth Splitter, but they don't really care. They're so tanky that they just don't matter. Oh, the shotgun comes out from the Morphling, and he gets a quick kill onto that Elder Titan. The rest of the fresh soil is going to be forced back into their well, and looks like UNM is going to try and group up, and they're going to look to push 2 lanes at once. I think this is a little bit of a mistake. You guys should focus one, get it, and then move to the next. They're not dead for that long, but I guess if you're... it's one of those things, it's like, it's a little risky. In the end, it probably doesn't matter, but it's just... Oh, that's a big Echo Slam. I just caught the edge of it. They lose their Ogre. They get another stun coming out onto them both, but they're going to quickly chew up this... okay, it doesn't matter. The Earth Shaker, not Earth Spirit. GG is called.
Too, but it looks like they just wanted that one last dunk, and in fact, the first blink that the Earthshaker did before that last kill was to blink to safety into his own fountain, so that shows that he couldn't even salvage whatever situation there was. U of M with a dominating performance, they built a lead and they slowly capitalized on it, so well played to them as they take a 2-0 win in the series.
Yeah, UNM Berserker, fantastic play from him. Shout out to Lucky Charm Serial, and anyone else who's watching, thanks for tuning in to the Twitch stream so far today. Not sure if there's any Dota 2 games. I'm going to set it to the load screen, play some music. I'll hop back in and give a broadcast as to what's going on here in a moment. But thanks for watching all day, guys. If you've been here watching the whole time, you're a champion. If you've been tuning in and out throughout, that's fantastic as well. And I will have VODs loaded up onto my YouTube page, which you can follow me on YouTube at WolfDota, on Twitch at WolfDota, and Twitter also at WolfDota. My friend, my co-caster, my man who's better than me at Dota, Green Barbecue. Any plugs, shoutouts, or anything you want to throw out there?
No, I haven't got anything else to say in that department, but thank you so much for having me on your stream. It's been great working with you. It's been fun, it's been hard, but it's been a great day of Dota, and I look forward to more down the road. Oh,
for sure. Anytime I need a co-caster, man, your in-game knowledge is a fair bit better than mine. A fair bit better. So, it's always nice to have somebody who has just maybe knows why they're doing that. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll talk to you all later.